My name is Ebony, and I'm from the city of DC. This documentary is about me, my life, and my upcoming. I want to first start saying that I was born on September the 15th, 1980. I was born to start to Clarence Thompson and Deborah Hooker. I was born and raised on Mississippi Avenue, Southeast. A bit about myself is that I'm a mom of seven kids, excuse me, and I was raised in a house on Mississippi Avenue, my grandmother's house. Let me tell you a little bit about my grandmother. She's like the down grandmother, the down chick grandma that always been there for me. She didn't tell me a lot of bedtime stories, but she told me about the game of life. While my mom and them had worked and things, my grandmother was there for me and my aunt. My mom was always dependent and working time to time. My father was not always available for me and things like that. At the age of 5, I went to Simon. By the age of 9, we moved into a place called Potomac Gardens, and that's when life got kind of real for me. I never ever lived in the projects before. By the age of 11, I started hooking school and things of that nature, and my I had went to the receiving home for children that don't go to school. It's a little Chauncey charge that I had, and my uncle came all the way from Connecticut, past the Thompson to get me. And at that time, the court told me I could no longer stay in D.C. and live with my mom, so my mom signed her rights over to my uncle, Pastor Thompson. Life in Connecticut was different, real strict, a lot of structure. Him and his wife, Beverly Thompson. Her name is Blondie Thompson. Showed me love. They had 3 boys. We lived in a big house. He preached in a town called Bridgeport, Connecticut, Eastside Baptist Church. There I stayed there for 4 years. Now, I wanted to be grown again. I was missing my mom, my grandmother, my siblings. My mom had 8 kids, so then I learned that I ran away. I learned that my mom was on drugs. So that kind of broke my heart. She was always available, no matter what. She always was available, still is. My dad, he kind of bipolar. He come and go. My stepfather's always there. His doors is always open. Like I said, I had 3 fathers. Pastor Thompson, Clarence Thompson, and Papa, which is JR, and I love them all dearly the same. Now, a little bit about me is, when I came back at 16, I got pregnant with my first son, Donald, excuse me. At that time, I wasn't stable. They took my son at a place called St. Anne's. He was at St. Anne's. Then my godmother went and got him. By then, at the age of 17, I was pregnant again with my second child. That's when I met Donald Cole. We had our firstborn in 97. Then again in 19, I was pregnant with Dontre. He's my 20-year-old. So me and Cole broke up. We was on and off. I moved with him. By the time of 20, we had our own place. By the time of 22, I was pregnant with Dawnette, my first daughter. I had her for 2 years. I spurred PCP, DC. If you're from DC, you call it the difference. They took my daughter. I was about to get her back, but I had relapsed and went to jail. Like I said, about 23, I was dancing. I experienced life, the streets, dancing, using drugs. I dated, I turned tricks, I did whatever it was. just to have a drug. I always took care of my kids. I put my kids, God first, my kids second. Um, I was in and out of jail. Cole had my kid, my boys. The system had done name. I had met someone called Fat Cap. I ended up marrying him, having 3 girls by him. And he was real abusive. He was a drug dealer. He had a lot of girlfriends. We had got married and stuff like that. I got my own place, but I always stayed with him and his grandmother too. Then we was in and out. He went to jail for 5 years. Left me and his kids. Tried to get back together, but ended up getting a divorce. Then we had Kamori. His mom was there for me. His grandmother was there for us part-time. He was real abusive. I walked around with black eyes. He fought me in front of my kids. But I said before he killed me, I have to leave him. Then I had went to my first program. I got clean, got back with that cat. He started abusing me again. Got locked up again. Went to my second program, got back with that cat, did the same thing. Third program, that was it. I stayed to myself, tried to get another relationship with my children. Always got my kids on the weekend and things like that. By the age of 30, I went to jail again. Got clean off of everything. I went to see my uncle. Steve had moved, Reverend Thompson had moved to Philly. I was going to see them. I always had a relationship with my sister, my half-sister, which is Pamela Thompson and Anthony Thompson. We grew up together. We was always close. I have a stepmom. She was always there for me. She was a correction officer, retired correction officer. And she's and she's also a retired probation officer. Mr. Clarence Thompson family showed me a lot of love. Are you serious?
Yeah, but.
Go ahead, just keep talking.
My dad family showed me a lot of love. Uncle Kirby was always there. He had no kids. He's a probation officer, retired teacher. Betty Thompson was always there. My stepmother, my aunts, my uncles. Everybody was there, but I was a child that would not listen. I had to learn to listen. And as I got older, I always liked the older man. But now I love myself. I give my kids my time. I'm real patient now. I listen now. I love me more than anything now. And at the age of 40, I'm learning to listen. I'm learning patience. I'm learning to love me. And only me. I'm clean. I'm sober. I love life. I love my children. I love my grandmother. If you're a girl in these streets, find God, get out these streets. I strip, I turn tricks, I smoke drugs, I did everything, and I ain't have to live like that. You know what I'm saying? My family was always there, still there for me, but it was up to me to do those things because I wanted to be liked. I wanted to be loved at times, you know what I'm saying? But y'all don't have to live like that. Go to a meeting. If you can't go to a meeting, go to a church. Talk to somebody professional, a preacher, a therapist, a case manager. Always go to my grandmother, my therapist. I have a doctor. Y'all don't have to live the way I live. That's my story. And thank you for listening to me. Tune in to part 2. Living the life in DC and Connecticut.
That was good, too.